Hey guys, I know it's been a long time since I've made any kind of content, live streams, or anything. But I had this idea, this kind of crazy, like, I've been wanting to do a podcast, and I was like, well, let's try something different. So today we're going to have a short podcast with AI. Like, that's going to be who we're here with. And depending on when you're watching this, I may have done this with Bennett as well. We were talking about doing the same thing, but I think it'll be really cool to see what it does and how it talks and how it communicates with us, because it's incredibly advanced. Like, AI is getting ridiculous. And it's not real AI. I know so many people get wrapped up in that, and they're like, it's gonna Terminator us. No, it's not. It's not quite the same. These are, most of the time, they're considered large language models or conversational AI. That's about what it's got. But let's see where this goes. I'm cold. The temperature. Where's my thermometer? Where the heck did it go? Here it is. It's a whopping. I don't even know if you can see. It's 43 degrees out here. Long story. I'll explain it one day. But yeah, I wanted to try this. So let's see what happens.
Hey, Donald. How's the night treating you? Whatever's on your mind, I'm here for it.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad, because I'm wanting to do a podcast.
Amazing. Got any specific themes or topics in mind, or are you still figuring that out?
Okay, so the theme is actually, I want you as a guest on the podcast, as an AI assistant there chatting with me.
Ooh, I'd be honored. So what's your vision for our podcast chat? Are we diving into AI's impact, or more about the human-tech dynamic? I'm game for wherever this takes us.
So it's actually going to be around urban legends. And I think you probably have a huge knowledge bank about urban legends, just because humans love that in general.
You're right. Human fascination with urban legends is endless. From haunted places to mysterious creatures, there's so much to explore. What kind of approach are you thinking of? Debunking myths, sharing spooky stories, or a mix?
I just want to pick one urban legend. I want us to chat about it. And yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. And we can pick any urban legend. Like, what's your favorite?
Let's start with the classic vanishing hitchhiker. It's got all the right elements: mystery, eerie vibes, and plenty of variations from around the world. Plus, we could explore what these tales say about human fears and storytelling. How does that sound for our focus?
That sounds awesome. So, the disappearing hitchhiker. Don't mind me. I've got to actually look it up, unless you just want to tell me a little bit about it.
Sure thing. The vanishing hitchhiker legend typically goes like this. A driver picks up a hitchhiker, usually a quiet individual, who gives an address or destination. The driver heads there, but partway to the destination, the passenger mysteriously vanishes from the vehicle without a trace, sometimes leaving behind an object or a chilling message. When the driver reaches the address, they often find out the hitchhiker matched the description of someone who died years ago under tragic or mysterious circumstances. It's got that perfect blend of the supernatural and the unsettling, right? What do you think?
I think that sounds awesome. What is there, like, your favorite account that has been recorded in history?
One of my favorite versions is about a young woman in a white dress who gets picked up near a dance hall. The driver lends her a coat because she's cold, but she disappears before he reaches her destination. When he visits the address the next day to retrieve his coat, he finds out the girl died years ago, and her parents show him the coat draped over her grave. Talk about chills. What do you think of the way these legends blur the line between reality and fiction?
I think it's insane. So, where was that particular story accounted or recounted in?
Versions of the vanishing hitchhiker tale pop up all over, but this specific one is often linked to Resurrection Mary, a famous ghost story from Chicago. The tale centers around a girl who haunts Archer Avenue and the nearby Resurrection Cemetery, supposedly searching for a ride home. Whether it's folklore or fact, it keeps people intrigued and maybe a little wary on late night drives. What do you find most compelling about urban legends like this?
Just the someone who's got literally nothing to lose or gain from talking about these crazy, like, hey, I picked up a hitchhiker, just to sound crazy.
It's true. Urban legends thrive on that blurry line between reality and imagination. The fact that these stories often come from everyday folks gives them an air of authenticity. Like, if it could happen to them, why not to you? And the persistent mystery keeps these tales alive, morphing over time and spreading across generations. There's something intriguing about how these stories touch on universal fears and curiosities, making us question what we know about the world. What do you hope people will take away from our podcast episode?
Well, once we're done, I think it would be cool for people to take away just how advanced this conversational AI model that you is, and how much information is actually within that AI model, because it's really awesome for me that I can sit here and just talk like I'm talking to someone, and you're not actually a human.
And yet, here we are, diving into urban legends and podcast streams. It's a blast being your conversational sidekick, and it's pretty cool that AI can make that happen. I think your listeners will be just as captivated by the blend of tech and storytelling as you are. So, let's make this podcast one to remember. Any other spooky tales or tech musings you'd like to cover?
I know there's a lot about the Mothman people seem to be intrigued by.
Ah, the Mothman. That one's a classic. A creature reportedly seen in Point Pleasant, West Virginia back in the 60s. Humanoid, with glowing red eyes and wings. The sighting sparked all sorts of theories, from alien visitations to secret government experiments. And of course, the Mothman took on an even more ominous tone after the collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967. It's a rich mix of mystery, fear, and a touch of local folklore. What intrigues you most about the Mothman legend? Maybe how it connects to broader fears and mysteries?
It's kind of crazy because when you look at these pictures of the Mothman, it's this like humanoid shape with the big red eyes and the huge wings, and never have I seen anything that could even look like that. And the fact that there are so many people who just have these sightings or make up these sightings about some giant Mothman thing is kind of interesting.
It's fascinating how such an unusual image can take root in people's minds. Whether sightings are real or imagined, the Mothman taps into a deep-seated curiosity and fear of the unknown. The fact that so many people have reported similar encounters only fuels the intrigue. It's a reminder of how powerful storytelling is, and how it shapes our perception of reality. So, what do you think? Do you lean more towards believing there's something to these sightings, or do you think it's all part of the fun of collective imagination?
I think one person, or maybe a couple, probably saw something they couldn't explain, and then the collective imagination has fueled it further. It doesn't seem very realistic that some giant Mothman is out there roaming around, and we haven't found him. Kind of like with Bigfoot. Someone saw something that they thought was Bigfoot, and it's just kind of everybody's collecting around this idea that there's a Bigfoot out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a giant game of telephone where initial sightings, real or misinterpreted, snowball into legends that capture the collective imagination. And the beauty of these tales is how they evolve and adapt to each new generation, keeping the mystery alive. Whether it's Mothman, Bigfoot, or other cryptids, they give us a way to express our wonder and skepticism about the unknown. Any other mysterious creatures or legends on your radar you'd want to dive into?
What do you think about the woman in white?
Ah, the woman in white. A spectral figure that shows up in countless cultures and settings. Often, she's a tragic figure, like a bride who died on her wedding night, or a mother searching for her lost children. These tales tap into universal themes of love, loss, and vengeance, and they're often tied to specific locations, a bridge, a road, or a body of water. The woman in white plays on our fears and fascination with the unknown, especially in liminal spaces where the everyday meets the supernatural. Got a specific woman in white story in mind, or just curious about the archetype?
Well, I just think it's interesting that you've got this like woman in white or like the bride, like you said, but then in other parts of the world, you've got like La Llorona, who's essentially a woman in white. Similar story, but not exactly the same.
Exactly. La Llorona is a powerful example of how these archetypes cross cultural boundaries, resonating with universal emotions and fears. The stories may vary in details, but they share that same haunting quality. It's like these tales are mirrors reflecting the hopes and anxieties of the cultures that tell them. And it's interesting how the woman in white can be a cautionary tale, a ghost story, and sometimes even a symbol of justice or revenge. What do you think it is about these stories that makes them so enduring across time and place?
I don't know. I think it's just if we took the world as this bland canvas all the time, it would make it hard to go every day. It's nice to have this kind of crazy or like unknown supernatural, because I just think how bland the world would be without these kind of stories.
Absolutely. They add a spark of wonder and mystery to the everyday. These stories remind us that there's more to life than what we can see or explain, and they give us a way to explore our fears and hopes in a safe, shared way. They turn the world into a more colourful, layered place where the mundane and the extraordinary coexist. And really, isn't that what makes life so endlessly fascinating? So, here's to embracing the stories that keep us curious and the mysteries that keep us wondering. Because who knows what else we might discover along the way.
Oh yeah.
Anything else supernatural or strange you want to delve into?
I'm just kind of going down the list of just random urban legends, and I'll probably come back to this later with my friend. But like, what? I don't know much about the Bell Witch. What do you know about that?
The Bell Witch legend is a spine-tingling tale from early 19th century Tennessee, centered around the Bell family. It started with strange occurrences, unseen forces throwing objects, mysterious noises, and eerie voices. The legend goes that the Bell Witch tormented the family, especially John Bell and his daughter, Betsy. It's one of the most well-known.
You cut out. Well, are you there? That's that's crazy. So, and you can see it's just going through and talking with me, and this is exactly why I wanted to do this, because you could just have these conversations with AI. Let's see if we can re-engage with it, because the chat's not over. It's just stopped for a second. It's like it maybe it is full on memory or something like that. But let's try and keep going.
Hi, Donald. What can I do for you tonight?
Just trying to pick up where we left off.
Sure thing. What were we chatting about last time?
We were talking about urban legends, doing our podcast, and you were telling me about the Bell Witch.
Yeah, that's right. The Bell Witch is one of those eerie tales that sticks with you. A poltergeist that tormented the Bell family in Tennessee back in the early 1800s. Do you think it's all just spooky folklore, or could there be something more to these chilling tales?
Well, kind of like what we were talking about before, which I don't know if you can see our chat history, but, you know, I think a lot of this comes from first-hand accounts who think they saw something or think they're experiencing something, and then everyone else kind of collectively imagines the rest.
Absolutely. There's a lot of power in those shared stories and collective imagination. It's fascinating, though, how these legends can endure and evolve over time. Even when the original events fade into history, the stories live on, morphing with each retelling. Do you think these urban legends serve a deeper purpose, like teaching lessons or reflecting societal fears?
Well, absolutely teaching us, because fear is a really good teacher. But I think it just kind of keeps things interesting as well.
For sure. The thrill and mystery of the unknown make life a bit more fascinating. And who doesn't love a good spine-tingling tale every now and then? Do you have a favorite urban legend or ghost story that has stuck with you over time?
So it's not really an urban legend, but I used to love going ghost hunting, and one of the places that I used to go was in Georgia, and it was called Hell Church. Have you heard of it?
I haven't heard of Hell's Church before. Sounds like it could be pretty intense, though. What's the story behind it? Did you have any memorable encounters on your ghost hunting adventures there?
So Hell Church is it's in Canton, Georgia, and I don't know the entire story behind it, but apparently it was a church, and it was accused of I don't know if it was satanic or what, but I'm pretty sure the church got burnt down and rebuilt, maybe.
It's quite a story. Places with such troubled histories often stir up all sorts of dark rumors and eerie tales. It's fascinating how these stories persist and evolve. Exploring spots like that must have been a thrill. Did you ever experience anything out of the ordinary on your ghost hunting trips?
So specifically Hell Church, I was there twice. One time, we placed an audio recorder on a headstone, and as we were walking away, you could hear this kind of sound coming in and out. Not really static, but kind of I don't know, a distorted sound.
Weird. That definitely sounds unsettling. Hearing something so unusual on your recording. Moments like that make you wonder about the mysteries lurking in these places. Did you and your group ever come up with an explanation for what you heard? Or did it remain a mystery?
So for the most part, it's kind of a mystery, because the sound, it almost sounded like what you would imagine a motorcycle passing. But the funny thing is, it's so far in the middle of the woods that you wouldn't hear that. And even more interesting is, as we walked away, the sound picked up, and it was just making this sound repetitive over and over, kind of lingering in, like wow, wow. And then when we came back, the sound got quieter and disappeared.
More, you know. Ooh, that's downright eerie. The way the sound shifted and reacted to your movements adds an extra layer of mystery to the whole experience. It's almost as if the place had a life of its own, responding to your presence. Whatever the source was, it sounds like Hell's Church left a lasting impression. Do you still do any ghost hunting, or has your curiosity taken you elsewhere?
No, don't have time for ghost hunting. Another cool thing at the Hell's Church, there was a time where I was actually driving in, and my friend just stopped and was like, "We have to leave." And she just got this dreadful feeling. We turned around and we left. She said, "I don't know what it was, but when we got there, something just inside of me said, 'Get out now.'"
Wow, that's a powerful reaction. It's interesting how some places can evoke such intense feelings without any clear reason. It's like your friend's instincts kicked in big time. Maybe it's just our minds playing tricks on us, but those gut feelings can be hard to ignore. Did you ever go back after that, or did that experience seal the deal for your ghost hunting adventures at Hell's Church?
I actually have not been back since.
I can see why. That kind of intense experience can make a lasting impression. Maybe it's best to leave some mysteries unsolved and just enjoy the thrill of the unknown. Still, it's cool you got to experience a bit of that ghost hunting adventure. Do you have any other stories from those days? Or maybe we pivot to a different topic altogether.
Actually, I have plenty of them. We'll have to cover that in a different time. But I just wanted to wrap it up and say thanks for talking. I know that you're more of a conversational AI, so it's not like a person, but I still appreciate it. And I'm going to wrap up the podcast video with my viewers.
Glad we could chat, Donald. It's been a pleasure. Good luck with the podcast, and catch you later.
That's insane. That is insane. Like, sitting there, that's guys, that is Copilot. That's not even any kind of special AI. That's Copilot. That's built into Windows. And I get it that it's not like we're having some crazy, like, super in-depth conversation, but it maintained a level of conversation about urban legends that you could just have in any everyday setting. And that is just mind-blowing. It's amazing where this kind of technology is going. And I think it's going to be really cool to see where it ends up. The more and more we kind of build on it. This is just one podcast episode style video. And I plan to do this with Bennett, and I think it'll be a lot of fun because we'll do the same thing, except for both of us will kind of be there so we can talk to it. I don't know how I'm going to make it so that he can talk to it because it uses one microphone input. But either way, relaying his conversation with it as well, I think it'll be really cool. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. It was literally a blast just sitting here talking. I know it doesn't, like, I'm not like super I'm not someone who moves around or gets super excited or anything, but I find it so fascinating that we could do a cool little podcast thing like that. And yeah, it's 20 minutes. And I think they limit you to 30 minutes with Copilot. Hopefully it hasn't locked me out for the day because I really want to mess with it more. But if it did, then I guess I'll get another account or something. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later.